it's your girl GOLDYNAPS and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about these ash blonde knotless boho braids. This is probably the most excited I've been about a hairstyle since I learned how to braid my hair like a couple of years ago. I created a custom braiding hair blend and dyed some bundles to match, and the result is what you see. In this video, I'm going to take y'all through everything that I did to get this style, from creating the blend, dyeing the hair, the cost breakdown, and actually braiding. So it is going to be a very thorough video. If you're here because you just want to see how to do a knotless braid, there will be time codes below and on the screen if you just want to skip to doing the technique. I also have a bunch of other knotless braiding videos on my page that are focused exclusively on that if you want to go check those out. Now, with all that said, I'm really excited to share how I did this style with y'all. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Before we get into the video, you'll know I gotta do my little spiel. If you're new here, I do lifestyle, beauty, and fashion content here on this channel. I would love to have you stick around. So if you're interested, hit that subscribe button down below. As y'all can see, I am nearly done with these braids, and I got a lot to tell y'all about the process, how to do them, how to do the color. We got a lot to get into, so let's get started. So let's go ahead and talk about hair color, which I feel like is the biggest, most important, and most exciting aspect of this hairstyle. If you've been here, then you know my natural hair color is this like sandy brown, dark blonde kind of color, and that is just not available in the braiding hair market. When I've done braids in the past, I've had to opt for color 27, which is a very like warm toned, almost yellow kind of blonde, and 613, which is basically like white platinum blonde. And while those colors, you know, they did what they needed to do for me to be able to do box braids or any other kind of protective style, they never really matched my skin tone or my hair color at all. I really just wanted to challenge myself to actually do a protective style that matched my hair color. And I knew it was gonna be a struggle because I was gonna have to create some type of custom blend of braiding hair. And the main thing that I didn't want was for it to look like chunky highlights. That is like a pet peeve of mine, is when a braiding hair blend, you can see all the different colors like blended throughout, because there are 3 different colors in my hair, but you can't tell because that thing is blended good. So the color that I have in my hair right now is a blend of 27, which is this kind of like yellow golden color, 4, which is like a dark chocolate brown, and silver. The color of my hair is much more ashy and cool tone than a lot of the more warm tone colors that are available in terms of braiding hair. So I thought to myself, if I could take the blonde hair that was available and blend it with like silver or gray, I would probably get an ashier color. So I initially started by blending 27 and silver, and while it did give me the ashy tone that I was looking for, it was still way too light. So I decided to add in some of that chocolate brown, and it gave me the perfect tone. As I was blending the hair together, I kept holding up whatever blend I had come up with to my hair to see if it matched, and deciding, do I need to add more silver? Do I need to add more blonde? Do I need to add more brown? Until I really got it as close as possible. And to really get a cohesive braiding hair blend that looks like one color, you really gotta sit there and blend and blend and blend until it's like all the strands and colors are blended together and it's not like alternating in different patches. But after completely blending up those 3 colors, I end up with this, and it is really like, the match is top tier. So once I got braiding hair that matched my hair, I was super excited. Like honestly, I was like, I will never go back to 27. I will never go back to 613. Like, this matches my hair color. It's gonna look so much better when it gets like frizzy and old. Like, my braids would look a hot mess when they got frizzy because it just looked unnatural. Like, it was just, I was like, okay, frizz, like, let's take these things out real quick because it's just not, it's not giving what I want it to give. So I was very excited about the braiding hair blend, and I don't care how much work it takes, I'm gonna do it every damn time I do a protective style now because it matches, it looks great. So if you're thinking of doing a custom braiding hair blend that exactly matches your hair, I would definitely recommend doing what I did and just coming up with a bunch of colors that you think are going to create a color similar to yours and gradually holding up to see if it matches and figuring out what colors you need to add or change or whatever. So even having the braiding hair blend that matched super well, I like boho box braids. I love boho box braids, and I knew I wasn't going to find synthetic curls that I could put into my hair that matched, but I also wasn't gonna find human hair curls to put into my hair that matched. So again, I was like, raw. It's time to customize. It's time to make yourself a custom bundle of hair that matches your braiding hair and also matches your natural hair so that you can finally have boho box braids that match. Like when I tell y'all I was dedicated to this mission, I was dedicated. Like I don't care how long it was gonna take me, how many times I was gonna have to do who knows what, I was gonna figure out how to do these braids. And I thought getting the braiding hair together was gonna be the hardest part. No, it was absolutely not. Figuring out how to dye and get the right color for these human hair bundles, girl, I almost quit. And I was like, you know what? I'll just do regular box braids. Like let's get into it. So I started off with a bundle of, I believe this is 24-inch deep wave 613 curls. If you've watched any of my other like boho box braid videos, then you know that I generally would use 613 16-inch Brazilian body wave curl. Now it's cute, those bundles are obviously much cheaper, but the hair that is left out of the braid is kind of short, and I just wanted the vibe to give, you know, mermaid long curls cascading down my braids. That's what I wanted. I really didn't care where the hair came from. Generally I order from Nadula Hair. I just looked up 24-inch because this doesn't look like 24 inches because it's curly, but when you stretch it out, it's much longer. And I knew that going into it. Like if you want the hair to be curlier, like you have to order longer hair if you want it to get that long look, because it's not measured based on how it looks in the bundle. It's measured based on how it is stretched out. So girl, I just ordered the cheapest bundle that I could find in the style that I wanted. I think I ended up paying like $90 for this 24-inch bundle. And I was like, that's a little pricey, but we gonna see how it goes. Now girl, the thing is, I had never dyed hair before like that. There was one time that I have dyed a wig and I did the watercolor method, which is very simple, but I had never, you know, had to take a little brush and like paint the hair and like rinse it, all this stuff. Like I had never done any of that. So I was walking into this blind, but I was committed to the mission, girl. I pulled up to Sally Beauty because I know they got a lot of hair colors in there and there's one near my house. So I went to Sally Beauty and thankfully there was a black store clerk and I told her my dilemma. I was like, girl, this is my hair color. I'm doing boho knotless box braids. I want them to match my hair color. I already made the braiding hair blend. I need these bundles to freaking match, okay? So me and this store clerk, we are going up and down the store looking at damn near every single blonde that is available. And she's looking at my hair, trying to figure it out. My hair color, like naturally the ends are lightened by the sun. And I think that she was trying to match my ends more so than my roots. And honestly, like when you're braiding your hair, like you're tucking your natural hair under the braiding hair. So the main thing that needed to be matched was my roots, girl. And the color that she gave me, I think she was trying to match the ends of my hair. So she recommended this Ion Color Brilliance in 7N, which is medium blonde. And I'm not dumb, okay? So I got home, I cut a little bit of the bundle off and I did a patch test. And girl, I was like, this is not the color I want. This is, that would look weird because it really did not match the braiding hair. I was like, it's gonna look like not what I'm going for, you know? Like I wanted it all to be like cohesive and this was not it. This is what we ended up with. It's like a golden blonde, which is not as, you know, ashy toned as what we have going on here. Now, I don't think it would have looked terrible, but my thinking was like, if I'm gonna spend 15 hours doing these damn braids and I'm gonna be putting all this time and effort to make a custom color and all this stuff, like I want it to be perfect. I'm not about to do all this work, commit to this mission, and then end up with something that I only halfway like. Like I need to love it. So I took my ass back to Sally's and I bought one shade darker than dark ash blonde, which is light ash brown. And this is 5A from the same Ion Color Brilliance. I did a patch test for that color and the tone of it didn't pull as gray. Honestly, the dark ash blonde and light ash brown are very similar. One just looks more gray than the other. Now, what I realized in this process of coloring hair, which I had never done before and was honestly like a struggle to figure out and time and just get everything coated evenly, like I had to cut the bundle into a bunch of different sections to make sure that I coated everything evenly, because if you didn't, it was like some of it was lightening like at a different time or changing tone at a different time. I didn't want it to look patchy, so I realized it was just easier to cut the bundles into a bunch of different sections. I also realized, like, unless you're a professional colorist or you have more experience like dyeing hair, you're not going to be able to mimic your natural highlights with box dye. Like, the color that you get is just a flat color. It's exactly what it looks like on the swatch at the store. There's no like highlights that most people's like natural hair has. It's just black color. After I realized that with the human hair, I stopped trying to match my natural hair color, because when I was trying to do that in the store with the store clerk, we ended up with that like more golden blonde color, because that is more of the color of the ends of my hair. But really, I needed to match the braiding hair, and I brought in like a little piece of the braiding hair blend that I created, and that's what I started matching to the swatches at the second time that I went to the store. So after that, it just made the whole process like a lot easier, because I'm not a professional, so trying to end up with like naturally looking highlighted bundles was just like not gonna happen. So after 3 trips to Sally's, a bunch of strand tests, and 3 different colors, we finally ended up with the human hair color that we needed to create this look. To get this like ash brown color, it took about 40 minutes, I would say, after applying the dye to like let it develop. I also mixed the box dye with 30 developer, because that's what the lady in the store told me to do. Like, when I walked in there, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, so please just tell me whatever it is that I need to buy. So she told me to mix the box dye, which was a cream dye, with 30 developer, and I also got, you know, the little bowl, the little brush, all that kind of stuff. And that's how I ended up with this color. I was really just winging it. It turned out good. Shout out to Sally Beauty and the store clerks in there for helping me out, because y'all were very helpful and very patient with me. And I wouldn't have been able to do this look without y'all. If you've been here, then you know I've been doing my own protective styles for about 3 years. And I feel like it's just getting to the point where it's getting a lot easier. Like, honestly, this is the most professional looking protective style that I've ever done. Like, if I popped out with this and you saw my hair, would you think that it was just me sitting here braiding my hair for 15 hours? No, like, it looks professional, girl. I do want to say though, if you are a beginner, like if you've never done a protective style yourself before, I don't think that this is the style to start on, because it would have been a real shame if I did all this work, got the right color, got the bundles, dyed them correctly, and then I did not have the skill set to actually execute it in a way that looked professional. I've been doing my own protective styles for like 3 years now, and I am just getting to a point where I'm executing them in a way that I'm like completely happy with them. That means learning how to do clean parts, learning how to feed hair in neatly, learning how to actually braid neatly, making sure that my hair is full but still lightweight so I can still be active, making sure that my hair lays flat and isn't bulky. A bunch of different other little things that are like personal to how you just like your protective styles to turn out, but it does take practice to get to a point where you're completely happy with the protective styles that you're doing. I feel like I'm at that point, so all of this investment and time into getting the right color, I felt like it was just the right time to do it, because I knew if I did all that work, I would be able to execute it and make it look how I wanted it to. So I will say, if you're someone like me who has a hair color that's just hard to match, but you haven't done protective styles yourself before, I would definitely start attempting to do those styles with hair fresh out the pack that you didn't have to do any extra work to, just so you can get used to that technique, get used to creating protective styles in the way that you like them and that you're comfortable with, and then move on to trying to create the custom color, because it is a lot of legwork up front. And I just want to make sure that if y'all do all that legwork, you end up with the result that you want. Now, after all of that chit-chatting, I'm going to finally show y'all how to actually do the braid. But the main point of this video was really about the color and how I actually achieved to get this custom color. But I've done a bunch of other videos on the knotless braiding technique, knotless boho braids, like all that kind of stuff. There's a bunch of videos up on my page, but I'm gonna show y'all right now just for kicks and giggles. I went ahead and brought myself in a little closer just so y'all can actually actually see what I'm doing. First thing I'm gonna do is just put a little shine and jam at my root. It makes it look smooth and just easier to grip. I've mentioned this before in other videos, but doing knotless braids is really about balancing the thickness and the length of the braid that you want to do. I'm doing small-ish butt length braids, and I found that 5 to 6 pieces of hair this size is what gets me the length and width of the braid that I want. The first step is just to split your section into 3 as if you were doing a regular braid. Go ahead and braid normally. If you've watched any of my other knotless braiding videos, you know I use my index finger as a guide to feed in hair, so I'm gonna show y'all how to do that right now. I'm gonna take my section of hair and rest it on top of my index finger, and then take the index finger on my other hand to hold it in place and braid normally. At this point, that section is secured. And I'm gonna go ahead and repeat the same thing to feed in all my other pieces of hair. At this point, I've fed in all my pieces of hair, so I'm just gonna braid normally. I like to add some shine and jam along the length of my hair as I'm braiding, just to keep everything nice and smooth. This also really helps you tuck your natural hair under your braiding hair so it's nice and neat. When I get to a place where I want to add in a piece of human hair, I cut it directly off the bundle and I feed it in the exact same way that I fed in the pieces of braiding hair. Make sure that with the human hair, you braid in 1/4 of the length of the hair into your actual braid so that it stays secure, and lift out the end so that it dangles outside of your braid, and then you just keep braiding normally. All right, I've got 1 braid left to do, and for this braid, I'm gonna make sure that I feed in the human hair bits before I feed in the braiding hair, because I like the idea that if I put my braids up, I can let these little pieces like dangle down in front of my face. I think that's really cute. Okay, braids are done. They look amazing, but now we have to figure out the situation with these ends. I don't want to just dip them because I kind of want them to go with like the vibe of the human hair and make them wavy, but I don't want the waves to go like all the way up my hair. I'm gonna try to figure out how to do it on like just the ends of my hair. All right, I got all the human hair clipped up because I didn't want to cut it or ruin it by dipping it in hot water. I just want the ends to have a curl, so I'm adding some elastics right above the ends. All right, ends are all braided up, so I'm gonna go dip these in hot water to seal them. And after all that work, I went ahead and did a little glam, and here is the finished look. This hairstyle literally turned out so much better than I could have imagined. It has always been a dream of mine to have a protective style that matches my natural hair. And I can't believe I did it, and I can't believe that I did it myself. Like, it's a dream come true, girl. And here is how the ends turned out. They're just like crinkly. They almost look like unraveled braids, which is really cute and I think goes with the look really well. I hope that this video was helpful, and if you, like me, continuously struggle to match your hair with anything that's available on the market for your hair texture, that you just do it yourself, girl, okay? Custom. I'm gonna wrap up this video here. I hope that y'all enjoyed it because I really enjoyed making it for y'all. Like, my favorite video that I've made so far. And with that said, I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye!